Alright, so the next game we wanted to talk about is Hitman, which is the next in the series, but they just called it Hitman to kind of... I don't know whether it's kind of like a reboot or a reimagining or a...
I think the way they were trying to market it was to be like the ultimate Hitman experience, so taking the best elements from, say, Hitman Absolution, and then like the best elements from Blood Money and combining them to form the ultimate experience of Hitman. So maybe like the sandbox, the larger sandbox environments from Blood Money with, say, the gameplay from Absolution.
Right. Yeah, I mean that seems to be what they were saying, and so yeah, I guess they just titled it Hitman because it's just Hitman. So what are your thoughts about this? I know there hasn't been a lot of gameplay, but it sounds like they're saying that the gameplay is similar to Absolution.
Yeah, from what we've seen, it appears that they're still going with the multiple different assassination methods for the same target, which was what made Absolution a really fun game, in my opinion. To be able to go into the same area, but never do the same thing twice, and to be able to use different methods to get the assassination done, so you could just run in and attack somebody head on, take your target out and then escape, or do it in a more subtle way, so poison them, shoot them from a long distance, or maybe make them fall down a hole or drop something on top of them.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the appeal of this game series to me, is the variety in ways that you can kill someone. And so it seems like there maybe even is more variety, and they were also saying that you can set things up, so you can have a sniper rifle set up for you. One of the coolest things that I heard was being able to like toss your gun on the ground and have the police pick it up, and they secure that and take that into the building and put it in this secure like storage room. Then you get past the metal detector and frisk, and then you go break into the storage room and grab your gun back and then go take out your target. So things like that sound really like dynamic as part of this world, and like, oh, what can I do? How can I get around this obstacle? And it sounds like it gives you a lot of replayability.
It gives you flexibility within the gameplay and gives you another avenue with which to pursue your target that maybe wasn't there in some of the other versions of Hitman.
Yes.
Because they may have had like limited programming. With having the newer consoles, and this being the first one that will be available on PS4 and Xbox One, they may have had more capability with the software to play with, and that's why they've been able to incorporate more options into one area.
Yeah, definitely. And so, what do you think about the episodic, the like core game plus episodic format that they're trying out here?
Yes, it seems an interesting idea, but I think they're trying to go with maybe how you play the first episode will affect how the other episodes are made. Like, they haven't already got a concrete idea of what the next episode's going to be, but they're going to take the feedback from all the different assassination methods and whether this person was killed or not, because it sounded like they were going to do like public events for like 48 hours, and that if you miss the target, they're gone forever. So maybe they might go with, if the majority of people miss that target is still alive in the next episode.
Maybe. It could be.
I really don't know, that's the problem. It doesn't seem like there's as much information out about Hitman as there was for maybe some of the other Square Enix games that were shown.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like, I mean, hopefully they do have kind of an idea of what they're going to do, because there's supposed to be content that comes out over the course of this year and maybe even the next year, like that they're going to continue to support the game and continue to add contracts and missions and those public events and things like that over the course of a year or two. And
yeah, they definitely said 2016 would incorporate some of the episodes being released, I guess. But
Right.
also the fact that they would be included in the base price of the game and that you wouldn't be paying extra for them. Unless maybe there'll be, like, the first 6 will be the base game and then they may do the rest as DLC.
Mm-hmm.
And it also seems that there wouldn't be microtransactions, but whether that would be a limited time thing for microtransactions or not.
Right, yeah, because he
It
said
doesn't
that
seem concrete.
they said the story was going to come out over this year. Like, the story would happen over 2016. And that story would be told, you know, you'd have a base amount of it that comes with the game that you purchase in December, and then they would release extra, you know, missions and episodes and whatever, and it would be told over the course of the year, and that you wouldn't be paying extra for those. It's not like you pay for the base game in December, and then every mission after that is DLC, which is nice. That we're not going to get an incomplete game and then you have to pay to complete it, because that is one thing that I was concerned about. But like you said, after that time, if they're going to continue to, you know, add missions and things, will they then change to a model of microtransactions or DLC? Who knows?
I think the model that they're using puts me off from buying this day one, and I will probably leave it until they've maybe had the first season of the game and then find out whether there's going to be any extra content added on.
Right. Because you don't want to have, like, secret stuff that you weren't planning on participating in, you know? So, you don't want to buy something and then feel like, well, now I need to keep buying stuff to have the full experience of it or to be able to complete it or whatever.
Yeah, because the trouble with me is I'm a completionist achievement hunter, so if they add new achievements 6 months down the line, and I have the game on my tag, I don't want to have to buy the DLC that's ridiculously expensive to get the completion back that I already had.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I'm totally with you on that, and I feel like we've been burned before by things that that you get something and then they keep wanting you to pay them to have more and more of the game or more experience or whatever, and you know, you don't want that kind of hidden things. A lot of times, you know, if I buy a game, I might think, oh, well, they might have a couple $10 pieces of DLC or something, but that's going to come out over the next year, but you don't want to be putting yourself into the position of committing to something for several years that you might not want to. What about the gameplay? Are there any gameplay mechanics that you are hoping that that will be different in this one? Because for me, the disguise system, I felt like in Absolution needed a huge overhaul. You know, you put on a disguise and everybody automatically knew that you were not the person that you were pretending to be, and I just felt like that was pretty broken, and so I'm hoping that gets fixed.
Yes.
If
the
not
same.
anything else.
Because not everyone in the building is going to know every person that is employed there.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, how would they know that you're not Dave, the electrician?
Yeah. It's just, it was silly. It did not work.
It's definitely a franchise I'm interested in, but it's not one that I'm going to go out of my way to buy the day it comes out.
Yeah, same. The only one in the series that I have played is Absolution, and I played a little bit of Blood Money, just the demo. But same. It's not a series that I'm super invested in, and so for me this one is something that I'm definitely going to keep my eye on, but like you, I might wait a little while to see how it's all going to shake out.
Especially with the amount of games that seem to be coming out this fall/Christmas time.
Absolutely. All right, so that's our thoughts on Hitman. And so last but not least, we want to talk about Deus Ex Mankind Divided. We just watched the gameplay demo that they put out, which was quite lengthy and showcased a lot of stuff. What are your first impressions?
My first impressions are that graphically it looks amazing, and that it appears that they've overhauled the stealth and combat systems to make it a more fluid game, and also giving you more upgrade options for weapons and abilities that you can use.
Yeah, it looked very pretty. I think the design, it looks like the same sort of style of Human Revolution, but taken up a notch with the increased graphical capability that they have now on the new gen consoles, and just like you said, improved. So the overlay and the HUD, and when you're scanning the environment and stuff, it just looks really, it fits really well into that world. It looks clean, it looks modern, it looks awesome, and it gives you the ability to be very versatile in what you want to do. And it looks like they've really concentrated on making the stealth and the combat kind of balanced, and you can sort of choose which one you want to do, or a little combination of both. I like that you can go through the game without killing anyone, or just murder everything.
Yeah, or a combination of the two. Also, the fact being that it seems that depending on your play style, you may get different conversations with important characters from what we see at the end of the trailer.
Right, like if you've killed people, then they know it, or if you've gone through and haven't killed people, then that might give you an advantage in certain situations.
Also, it may pay off to have killed certain people, so that there's like less reinforcements that come to back somebody up.
Yeah, that's possible too, for sure. So what do you think about the upgrades that they showed off? They showed off cloak, they showed off armor, they showed off the nanoblades, the different types of ammunition that you can swap and craft and whatnot.
I think the ammunition for the same kind of weapon is more useful than having to carry around, say, a stun gun at the same time as a pistol, because then you can just swap the ammunition over. The cloak was very useful in Human Revolution, and the fact now that they seem to have included an armor as well for a limited time to make you into like a tank in soaking up damage would definitely help on some of the harder difficulties, or if you get into a tough spot that you weren't expecting enemies to appear. And also the fact like they have made it so that cover is now destructible, which means that the game will probably be more fluid because you have to keep on the move, which means that you will probably be using your abilities more, because you won't be able to rely on hiding around a corner for 15 minutes while you take out everybody in the area.
Yeah, I definitely like the destructible cover thing as well, because like you said, it keeps you on your toes. It means you have to move around, you have to be quick, you have to be mobile. And it's not just, I think that really sets it apart from your typical cover-based shooter where you just sit behind a chest-high wall, kill everything, go to the next chest-high wall, kill everything. So I definitely like that, and the combination of the armor and the cloak was very cool to see, that you put on the armor and you take a bunch of bullets and you kill some people, and then you hide behind cover, cloak, move around to another position, and then continue to kill everything. It was pretty cool looking. That nanoblade, I think looks amazing.
Yeah, the addition of something that you use as an ability that's actually offensive is useful, because a lot of the abilities in Human Revolution were passive. They didn't really have much of an effect except for the Typhoon that you could use during combat. And it also showed off like a quad stun gun that like appears out of your hand that you can use to take out multiple people.
Yes.
Which seems like a interesting addition. And also the fact that the nanoblade has different functions, so you can pin someone to a wall. So if you want to hide a body so that an alarm isn't raised, that would be a good use for it. And also they showed explosive rounds for it, so you could shoot it into a wall behind somebody who's in cover to stop them being a threat.
Right, or it even looked like you could shoot it into a wall that sort of distracted people, like, oh, what's that? Let me check it out. And it just
exactly
explodes, which was pretty awesome.
Also the fact that it's alpha gameplay and alpha footage, and the game looks like I know it's only a small area, and they said that they will beef it out and make it so it's more open world. But from what we've seen so far, if this is the alpha footage, then I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the rest of the game.
Yeah, me too. It looked great, and it was 25 minutes long, and it felt more like 10.
Yeah.
To watch, which is always a good thing. You're getting immersed in it and getting lost in it. What do you think about the story?
I think the story is a good step on from Human Revolution, because Human Revolution felt like that they were trying to find a place for augments in the world. There were the people that were unaugmented pushing for reform and maybe a control on augments, and now it seems that it's moved towards augments being ostracized from society because of the events of Human Revolution, and that you're leading like a task force, but you're also like undercover looking to see what the Illuminati are up to, because they're still a threat within this timeline. And with Deus Ex, it appears that like you're following one story and then it leads on to something completely different because it's an undercurrent and not something that you were expecting.
Yeah, and it looked like we have some interesting characters as well. They did show one conversation that you had with a sort of, I guess, boss. And I don't know, I don't know what to think about the conversation system just yet, because it looked similar to what they had in Human Revolution, which I never fully understood or really got, because like you could have that augment ability to kind of be able to read somebody and their personality and what they would gravitate toward, but then their personality might change based on what the topic is or what they were talking about. Like they might be more alpha here and more beta here, and that determines what method of conversation
you should use in the conversation at that time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always guaranteed that the conversation would work the same time each time, even if you had the augment. You may use the same options and it still wouldn't work. There was a value of chance.
Yeah, it was an interesting system. I hope that they've made it a little bit more intuitive. I found that in Human Revolution to be one of my least favorite things, because I liked the idea of it, but I don't think it fully made sense to me how that worked, and I don't know that it was really explained all that well in the game or implemented all that well. It felt like you just kind of said something and saw how it went.
Yeah, with the Mankind Divided, it doesn't seem like they've really showcased much of the conversation-based gameplay at this stage, so I'm guessing we'll have to wait for further updates to see whether they've overhauled the system or not.
Well, they failed the conversation in the demo, and so it's possible that they just hadn't upgraded their social skills very much, and so it's possible that you're going to see a little bit more information when you upgrade those skills, which would make sense. So
yes,
I hope that they've done a little bit of retooling with that, because it was one of the things that just felt less intuitive. Speaking of things that felt less intuitive, how do you feel about the hacking that we saw?
The remote hacking looked like it was more simplified, which was good, compared with the hacking in Human Revolution. But when they went further on, they did the normal hacking, which still looked complicated. But if it's easier to hack, it would be nice, because Human Revolution felt it was geared more towards PC with the mouse for the hacking, because on console it felt like it was slow.
Yeah, not as precise. I think a lot of things in Human Revolution felt like they were optimized for the PC, even just picking up stuff, like the precision with which you had to put your reticle on something to be able to select it to pick it up, felt very much like it was geared toward having the precision of a mouse versus a controller. And so hopefully they've done a little bit of work on that to make it more accessible to us happy console folks who don't have a monstrous gaming rig.
Indeed.
All right, so any final thoughts on this one? For me, I think this looks great. We don't have a release date yet, but it's looking like this is probably going to be a day one purchase for me, just because I really enjoyed Human Revolution, and this looks better.
Yeah, same for me. Definitely going to look out for more information on this game, and if it proves to be as good as its demo shows, then definitely a day one purchase for me too.
Absolutely. All right, so those were our thoughts on some of the Square Enix published titles that we saw. And let us know what you guys think about these titles, and if you're looking forward to them. And we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.